We have one of the most talented singer-songwriters in the industry up and coming right now, coming all the way from Los Angeles, born in Mexico, had her time in Illinois, was in Utah. She's been around the United States and around the world. It's an insane journey for her, and she is joining me here on the show here today, Poe Leos. Poe,
Yo,
what's going on? Welcome to the show, Sports and Hip Hop with DJ Mad Max.
thank you for having me, man. It's crazy. Like, shoot, I'm excited to be here.
Of course. Congratulations on everything that you've achieved so far. I want to start off with this because I know you write a song every day. What was your song about today?
Oh, well, actually today my session's starting a little later, but I actually already have some ideas, man. I'm thinking about like, the duality of people, like how they start off one way and they change completely. Like when somebody you meet them and they're like 100% perfect and like, oh my God, they're so thoughtful. They're about you all day, every day. They got time for you, like all this. And then I think like slowly at the time, they slowly start dumbing it down and like you start expecting less and less. And the rules kind of change up. So I'm thinking about something like that, maybe.
I've noticed that you've been having some South by Southwest performances. How are those gone for you?
Man, it was so much fun. Like it was such a supportive crowd out there. Like, I don't know, the people in Austin, Texas are just lit. Like you could play something they don't even know and they're dancing to it like crazy. It was a good experience. I was so glad to test out some new music, like, test out the sound. People are feeling it. So yeah.
Was this the first time on your major stages as far as South by Southwest? Have you done any Rolling Loud yet, or is that coming soon?
Coming soon, man. That was my first big festival ever in my life. And first time I've ever been to South by Southwest. First really big stage ever, like, I think in my life. So yeah, it was really dope.
Did you learn crowd control beforehand, or was this your first time in front of that large crowd, being that it was a huge stage?
I feel like I've been in front of large crowds, but it's like in the hometown type of vibe, like Salt Lake City, Utah, like they have a lot of shows. And I used to open up for a lot of artists. So like I've been in front of big crowds ever since I was little too. I've been performing around big crowds and stuff. So that's always been a natural thing for me is like to be confident. But I'm still learning how to work a crowd. So like every day I'll get better. And I still would like to have some coaching on that end. Like, like you said, crowd control. Definitely.
Mhm. How was your experience of being born in Mexico and then coming to the States and having your time outside of Illinois and eventually making your way to Salt Lake City in Utah?
Man, it was dope because in Mexico, obviously I was there for a very little time of my like birth, like, and I moved immediately to the US. But going back to Mexico every single year, like I would go for like 2 to 3 months at a time every summer. It was like one of those things your mom sends you after the summer, she goes with you, like so I was there every single summer and it was good to see the back and forth, like I'm gonna say it again, like duality. Like in life, there's a lot of duality. So like coming back to the US and then going to Mexico and comparing, contrasting like how people live different lives, or even a radio, like seeing how like a song out here, it might be huge out here and nobody knows it out there. Or like seeing how like Post Malone's big out here and he's big out there. Like, like being able to compare artists who actually make it through the boundaries of like crossing over. It was good like to see that growing up because it helped me low-key in my artistry. And like having the first language being another language, a foreign language is a big plus. And I would say to anybody with kids and anybody with the Hispanic background or who knows Spanish, definitely teach your kids that language first because it'll unlock a whole nother part of their brains. Like even in a writing process, you get to have twice as much words, options, and vibe as everybody else. And then, Illinois, it was its own vibe as well because I was in a kind of small town, but I grew up with the big town vibe because Chicago, I mean, it's like right next door. I spent pretty much all weekends there. My mom worked in a city. So like we were, moving around a lot as a kid anyway. And then, man, I moved to Utah when I was like 13. Man, it was like night and day. But I'll say it again, that was also great. Like I feel like all this molded me into like fitting into different crowds and like reading people and like, and music being like, although maybe they don't relate to the words, they still love the music just as much. Like, being in Utah, it's a whole different lifestyle. Like people are a lot more calm in the house, on the internet more like than anything. Like, so it was good. Like I feel like I grew a lot mentally. At a young age, I was already really like I already knew who I was because seeing all these different people, I'm like, I'm not like you, I'm not like you, I'm not like you, and I'm not like you. I'm like you little, but like, everybody like, made me feel like I learned a little bit more about myself being around so many people in my life, you know?
Don't you feel comfortable as a person once you realize that you're not like the other people around you? Because I feel as though everyone always trying to fit in, and I think it's always better to be an outsider.
Yeah, man. I feel like you're hiding that from yourself if you say that you're like everybody else. You're, if anything, suppressing and you don't know much about yourself. Knowing about yourself is knowing that you're individual as hell. Like, I mean, me, I don't think there'll ever be another me ever in my life. Like, I don't think anyone reaches the same like mental like the thoughts I have on a day-to-day basis. I know no one-on-one just based off the fact that I'm a creator, and creating is like if you're biting off someone else's creation, then you're automatically not creating something, you know? And I feel like since the beginning of my time, I'll say I was always creating something new, always trying something new, doing something that was considered weird, standing out. I mean, at times I ended up like, it would just be me, like in a room full of people, it would just be me. I always knew, like, at first I thought maybe it was a bad thing, you know? Of course, we all start off like that, thinking, oh, maybe I'm weird and like I'm never gonna fit in. But it's like after a while, I swear I hit that wall at like 12, like 12, 13 years old, where I was like, but that's the point. Like it's not a bad thing. I swear, like I hit that so young. And like I don't know, realizing that really helped confidence, because I think if I let that eat up my confidence, I wouldn't be able to do what I do today and present myself to people. So, yeah, for sure I had to own it. Like,
It's important that you did. I know music was always a thing in your musical background as far as growing up in your family. Your sister's actually a classical pianist.
yeah, yeah, and plenty more, man. My sisters are very talented. I have an older sister. She plays the piano classically trained. She plays the clarinet. She's self-taught in the saxophone, trumpet. Pretty much like my family just like they cling on to things very fast. I have another sister who plays the saxophone, another sister who plays the flute. My mother is an amazing singer, and all of her brothers and sisters, which is 12 of them total, the aunts and uncles, all of them sing, harmonize, and play at least an instrument. So yeah, it's definitely in our family, like 100%.
You received your guitar for Christmas. You were watching all the YouTube videos online and learning karaoke, and you were the only person that was performing in front of your mother at that time.
Yeah, it was like a bond between me and her that like I'm gonna say it, and my sister hate me for it, but that I had with her that nobody else had. So like we wake up Sunday mornings, pretty much you name it, any day of the week where we have free time. Like we wake up, make ourselves our coffee. I have been drinking coffee for so long, man. We would wake up, drink our coffees together, and put on like on the TV instead of just watching TV. We put on karaoke on YouTube and just immediately get to singing. Me and my mother, like she would teach me songs and explain to me stories about how her father taught her this song, and like how she had been singing this song since she was 6 years old. She would teach it to me. And like, stuff that I don't necessarily remember spot on, but I know she taught me. Like she taught me how to harmonize. She taught me about like vibrato, like stuff like that you learn in a real school. She taught me in our living room on the couch. Like, just sitting there taking her time with me. I had been learning how to sing from her since I was 4. Like, but my mom says I had been saying I was gonna be a singer since I was 1. I don't remember that far back, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, she's right. Like, but it was always something between me and her. Like, she was my first vocal coach, life coach, like breathing coach. And even like, my mom would be one of those people like, stand up straight, hold your chin up, like, like look at people in their eyes, speak with respect. Like, that's what my mom has always been like that. And I'm so thankful for her because she taught me how to be the good talker I am today, the explainer I am today. I feel like she helps me present myself as who I want to be. Like she knew what I was going for. She's like, "Here, I got you, bro. I'm gonna help you."
Who's an artist that you would credit in helping you learn the English language? Because you hear all these stories. Giselle Bundchen came to the States and learned the English language by listening to Boys to Men. I know Beyonce is a huge influence for you. Who was that artist that you can credit helping you learn the English language?
Well, my first couple of artists that I remember really just blasting around the house. I remember like it was yesterday, that song by Chris Brown. It was like, oh, what song was it? Um
Was it Run It? Look at Me Now?
no, it was an old Chris Brown song, the R&B song. I remember stuff like that playing in the house, like Neo and stuff like that. But that was my sisters really playing it, like And then I remember like back then because when I was younger, it was really only Spanish music up until I hit like a certain point where I discovered English music by myself. Because in my household, it was kind of like nobody really listened to hip hop that much. Like my sisters did, but outside the house or on their headphones. And like honestly, to be real, if I were to play hip hop in my room, like my mom probably be like, "Yo, like turn it off. It has bad words or whatever." But in Spanish, like there's artists who are already doing that cross like boundary thing, like Romeo Santos in bachata. He has songs from back in the day with Drake in 2008 where he had an English verse on, and that's when I was like, whoa, like this is good. Like I like the English stuff too now. Like, and then I would hear like he also did a song with Usher or a song with Lil Wayne. Like he was already doing that innovative like English and Spanish stuff. So and Selena Quintanilla, like she was the perfect example for me as a child of who I can be. Like I am able to represent my country and represent like my, you know, my culture as well, because my country at the same time is also the United States, but my culture is Mexico. So Selena like showed us like how you can do that. Like you can respect both. Like you can be singing a Diana Ross song one day and the next day sing a whole Spanish song. Like, so I think those were a couple people. I'd like to say as well, like people like man, dang, it just left my mind. Prince Royce, like, you know, in the younger generation, that's what I was looking at. You know, they were always in the mainstream, whether that be in English or Spanish. They were there, they were keeping it new, trying out new ideas. So I feel like that's a couple. And Beyonce, of course. Beyonce has, I don't think at all any Latin blood in her, but she's always done like Spanish versions, full Spanish versions of her songs. Like that song Listen that she has, there's a whole Spanish version. There's a whole Spanish to the left. Pretty much name it. She has a Spanish version.
So does Brian McKnight. I noticed on one of his early albums, he did a remix to Back at One in
That's,
Spanish.
I didn't know that.
Yep. It's always interesting to see English artists do that. And
Yeah,
that's
it
how you
is.
gain an audience, a diverse audience too.
Drake, man. Drake, Mia, Bad Bunny. That was all. He was just in there having fun at first, I bet you. And then second, it was a smart move. Like he unlocked a whole new man. Crazy.
Marketing geniuses.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. And that's, I feel like some of us have that built in us where we could just choose to make those decisions for ourselves and stand out and do that. You know?
Speaking of the genius, you worked with him. He actually did Drake's Controller.
Oh yeah, the genius. Yo, he's crazy. He's so cool, man. He's actually really talented. He's messes a lot with reggaeton, surprisingly too, and like Becky G and people like that. And yeah, man. Originally, I had met him for the HBO. I'm not sure if you heard about it, the HBO show that
Insecure.
Insecure on the soundtrack. I was featured on season 4,
Look
episode
at
4.
me.
Yeah, look at me. It was on the Thanksgiving episode. You know, it was actually so funny because that day, knowing it was the genius, me, I'm like one of those people who, if I know who the producer is, I'll obviously look up a couple of their songs, you know, find out their vibe. But I also recommend don't do that because this is why. So that day I walked in that studio thinking, cool, we're gonna make some dancehall reggaeton vibe and we're gonna kill it. It's gonna be lit. We did that. Of course, it was fun, and you know, like that's what I do. So we did that fast, but we had extra time, so we were having fun. We ended up writing a rap song with one of my friends. I was thinking she was gonna rap it, but they're like, "Yo, Poe, you should rap it." And I'm like, "Sir, do you know I am not a rapper?" And he's like, "Nah, but like mix a little Spanish in there and just like, you know, like mess around with it, like, you know, vibe with it. You could kill it, like you could still pull it off not being a rapper." So they really just gassed me up. Like I'll say the genius and everybody in that room gave me the confidence to rap. I still feel like I'm not a rapper to this day, but man, they pushed me out of my comfort zone. And that second song was the one that actually got picked, not even the first song that I thought was the best one. And that's how life works, man. Like you sleep on some records. And nowadays people walk up to me about that record and they're like, I know the whole beginning. I learned it. I don't even know Spanish. And they're like, you know, stuff like that. It's good to hear. And knowing I made it with somebody like the genius and a couple other producers like Heartbreak Food from the Eardrummers and Chris, who worked with a bunch of big artists. So, you know, it's actually dope. It's dope to have that.
Christopher Bush is a life-changing connection for you. You met him through his daughter at her sweet 16 birthday party.
Yeah, man. It's crazy how life works. Like you really just make friends and your friends introduce you to other friends. And then those friends end up being lifelong friends. And, you know, it's really how it happened with me and him. It was natural. I can never say it was forced at all because moving to Utah, I knew nobody. And that automatically meeting the one person in Utah that had connections outside of Utah, it was wild. Like it's meant to happen.
It was meant to be. AntLive is someone else that saw something in you. How did you meet AntLive?
AntLive, I met him through Chris Bush. And the thing was that, you know, they're cousins, first cousins. So AntLive is the younger brother of Eric B from Eric B and Rakim, the rap group,
Okay.
legendary. And you know, he helped a couple people get on like Jay-Z He helped with Will Smith in the beginning of his career,
Big
Big
Daddy
Daddy.
Kane.
Exactly. So he's already, I mean, his name holds weight, period. People know him. But he's also very humble. He was living a low key life, living in Las Vegas, chilling, like really just like down to earth, chill, humble man. And Chris told him about me. And since he was living in Vegas or in Utah, he took the 4 hour drive or 6 hour drive and came over one night. It was like real late at night, and he had me sing for him. And I did, and he was like, "Yo, this is great. Like, I really believe in it. We should go take this to LA, and I want to introduce you to some producers." And literally, he just took us in, like, under his wing and, like, introduced us to everybody he could. And he would roll with us all the way to Cali. Like, we take a van, we get hotel rooms, and, like, he would always be right by our side. Like, he was our road dog. Like, it was dope, man. Rest in peace, AntLive. He sadly died, like, passed away. But, he set up my whole life. Everything I have now is because it started with him. Like, he really just set up those stones for me to step on. And, like, he told me, he was like, you're using me to start. And he's like, it's only going to grow from here. And, like, he would always have long talks about remembering who I am, stuff like that, like deep stuff. Like, I think he affected my career a lot, good way. Like, I think about him every day. So, rest in peace, AntLive.
Rest in peace. You've even mentioned it that he did more for you in 3 to 4 months in meeting him than most people ever did throughout your whole life.
Yeah, that's how it goes in life. Some people being around you so long, they sometimes forget that you still need help. They'll kind of like you get written off. You'll have family that even just doesn't feel like they can really just put anything in when they know they can help you. So, like, he really just stuck his hand out. Him and Chris, and my family, my close family, like my sisters and my mother, they're the most supportive people in the world. Them and Chris and AntLive were the reasons why I made it here. Like, I couldn't have done it alone. Like, you really do need a support system in this type of industry. Wanting to be front and center, you need people to fall back on in the hard times, and those were my people. So,
And those are the people that matter most when you're going through your hard times.
hell yeah, man.
That's
Period.
right. It's important. And through AntLive, you get connected with Flavor Flav. He saw you perform. He saw something in you. Can you recall the first time that you saw Flavor Flav and met him?
Man, you know what? I really can't. I can't. I just always remember him, like, around. Like, I do remember from the beginning, like, when we met, AntLive introduced me to him, and, like, AntLive and him are already like brothers. So he's like, okay, cool. Well, I'm your Uncle Flav now. I'm like, okay, lit. Like, it was kind of like just one day to the next, we're family. We're going over to his house. He's having, like, cookouts in the grill, like pretty much from, like, the first day we met him, we immediately linked. Like, that man is just like a good-hearted man. I've never met like a legend so down to earth and, like, humble. Like, Flavor Flav is genuinely a cool dude, transcending any type of age or year that he used. Like, when he first started, he is still 100% that dude. Like, just, I rock with him heavy. Flavor Flav is real as hell.
Public Enemy legend. What did it mean to you for him to invite you on his show? And he actually had you perform on there with the guitar.
More than anything, it's like I said before, like, the people you'll have closest to you will hesitate the most to help you. So that meant a lot that he was thinking of me, like, knowing he could have a lot of legends on the show, and he picked me for that show. I'm like, okay, bet. So you rock with me, you know. And not that, like, he told me, he's like, one promise I made to Ant was that I was always gonna have your back, and you're always gonna be good. And, like, I'm keeping my promise. Like, that's literally what he told me that day. And, like, it's stuff like that that matters a lot more than just the push and the attention and the promotion. It matters more that, like, he did that out of the kindness of his heart to fulfill a promise. Like, that's a real dude right there, is what I meant to say. He's a real dude.
Mhm. I love to see you two collaborate on a track, especially with his ad libs.
Might be crazy, low key. Yeah, that could be wild.
That would be insane. I read online too when I was researching. You took some part in some writing workshops.
Oh yeah. Well, the writing workshop for HBO was one. I did a writing workshop with Taylor Parks recently, for a couple of artists, including Anita and Van Jess, amongst another couple writers. Um, yeah, I've been doing a couple writing workshops for a minute. Like, I had my own writing workshop for my team. you know, because I know a lot of writers, and at the same time, I write a lot of my own stuff. But it's always good to outsource, as they call it, for for ideas, because you're only one person and you can only experience so much in your life. That if you can take inspiration from another person's either experience or the way they see things, and put that into your music, it's only going to get better and more relatable. So that's what I try to do. Keep it open.
You're one of the most versatile up and coming singer songwriters out there. What was your process in learning how to write songs of different genres, from Japanese boy bands to reggaeton, Latin, trap, everything, R&B?
One of my main things I credit a lot of my I guess a lot of my outcomes to is because of, I guess, actually somebody South by Southwest asked me about this, and my saying is really like, think less and do more. And although in life that's not exactly 100% accurate, in the music industry, because music is such a non-graspable thing, and it's so malleable to where you can mold it to whatever you want, is what I mean to say. That you really just do have to think less, trust yourself, because as a creator, something that may not be good right now can grow to be good. And although it may be the first take and it's rough, that first take has something in there that your body felt natural coming out with. So I like to, in those rooms where I'm trying a new genre, is like, I just move. I roll with the punches, and whatever I feel like naturally comes out of me with this, let's mold that. And then, if I take some tips from someone saying, okay, maybe this will help it make it more J-pop, maybe this will make it more R&B, it'll only mold as it goes. So it's always about trusting your first instinct, like, and just taking that jump. Like, if you don't ever try, you're never going to get it. And I feel like that's one of the main things that used to block me when I was starting out as a writer. And I mean, even starting out as a writer, like, I didn't have somebody right next to me explain to me, like, okay, pick a subject and then write the verse and then the hook. It was always like I was kind of like sitting there with the beat, and like I just always, like, I don't know how to explain it. I guess you would press play on the beat and the whole song kind of just, as I heard the beat, I can hear the whole song. Like, it's kind of like in my brain, like I just like already imagine it. So yeah, I also have a big imagination. It might be part of that. So yeah.
What's the most important platform on social media or any type of media that you use nowadays? Because back in the day when you really got your start, it was Facebook, which you were getting all the views from your covers.
Yeah, man, Facebook was crazy. It's so easy to just rack up a bunch of views, and like it was paying off a lot more back then because people my age were really heavily on Facebook, and being Facebook famous was really important to people my age. So, that was real easy to get up on. But right now it's Instagram is actually where I've had a lot of my biggest connections recently and my biggest numbers. And, it's more of like, I feel like long term for me, like I'm really active on there. But other than that, since the beginning, Snapchat's been really big. Excuse me. Snapchat's been like, my views on Snapchat are crazy because I used to make these stickers with my Snapchat QR code on it and stick them everywhere in every city I would go to. You name it, I would stick it. And like people would add me from all over. So I get like thousands of views on my Snapchat as well. But other than that, I mean, Facebook to this day, like I'll still post on there like sometimes. And my YouTube, I've been trying to post more on there too. My views on there are pretty much the most active. But yeah, my Instagram, if you really want to see me on a day-to-day basis and know what I'm doing, go to my Instagram.
For sure. Make sure you check her out on Instagram at Poe Leos.
Yeah, Poeleos.
You can check out all the daily content, daily uploads there, upcoming work for performances, everything. But we're gonna get into some other things here as far as your career, because you have a lot on the way here. And not only that, but you signed a deal with Sync.
I sure did. Yup, Sync Music, man. They're crazy. The best people, so supportive. They have connections to a lot of Latin American artists, especially Mexican artists. And I love that. Like, it's like a perfect mix, like if I could say, like, of everything I wanted. Like, they have artists from Mike Zombie who did
Started
um
from the bottom beat.
yeah, exactly. They have him. They have artists from Houston, Texas, like Squala. They have Colombian artists like, and now they have also really big artists discographies like Janet Jackson, Bad Bunny. They have Anuela, pretty much a lot of big artists in all aspects. Jason Derulo. So like, they're pretty much heavy already. They have a lot of weight and in their name, and they make big moves and they move forward. They don't just stay in the same lane. They're always trying something new, and I really like that about them. So yeah, we signed a deal. We're preparing a bunch of songs. The first song just released March 11th, 241. And after that, we'll be releasing a new song pretty much every like 10 to 12 days up until we release the EP. And yeah, I'm excited with them. We're gonna be releasing English and Spanish. So it's gonna be dope.
Talk to me about the upcoming EP. Is there anything that you can reveal about it?
Man, um, well, I don't know if it's a reveal, but it's like a PS. Poe Leos made most of these beats. So, and also engineers. So when you hear that, that's really me. So yeah, I think that's a big thing for me. I'm really putting my heart out there on the dance floor, like they say. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the critique. Like that's I always look forward to it because I'm always looking to grow. And I'm not gonna be the same person I was today tomorrow. So
No,
forward
that's
to
for sure. And you're only growing. What's a genre of music that you're looking to explore that you haven't yet, as far as writing or even getting involved with as a singer?
It's so crazy you asked that because I was just thinking this morning about the possibilities of man. So hear me out. In Spanish, in Mexico, we have our own version of country music. It's like our own, like it's I guess it's a mixture of like how we do norteñas, like which is technically northern music, what we call it, but it's like band music. And I've always been thinking like the melodies give me a vibe of country music in English. And like so imagine a country song but in Spanish, but like a mix of like Spanish, like sing rap, because like in country music nowadays, even in English, they do sing rap already, and like they'll even mix in trap now, like trap beats. So I'm thinking of like something like that, but possibly in Spanish to bring in my own vibe, and it's already really natural because I grew up listening to northern, no, norteño banda music in Spanish. So you know, I'm thinking of doing something like that. Maybe even I grew up with also a lot of bachata, even though bachata is from a different culture, it's still like Latin culture in general. So I grew up with that. I would love to try that. Like that would be crazy.
That's interesting. And it's amazing to see like how country's kind of evolved over the years because it's become more urban. You look at the artists, the majority are urban artists.
Exactly. Yup. Everything, man. It's like vibrance, like colors like are coming to the front now. I feel like everybody is getting a chance. I feel like in every country we all know there's colorism and there's always misrepresentation. There's not enough representation. So I feel like nowadays people are pushing for that and people are putting themselves in the line. Like there's gonna be someone else who relates to me, who feels like they look just like me, who feels like they want to be like me, and I think that's what the younger me needed, like to see people like me up there on that stage. So I'm happy about that.
Absolutely. HBO, we brought that up before. We're Insecure. You looking to get involved in any other TV series?
Yeah, man, plenty more. I would love to even do acting. So I look forward for that, man. There's definitely always opportunities on the way. So yeah.
What role are you looking to play in a movie or TV series? What is the Poe Leos role?
I don't know, man. I feel like low key I could be a voice actor because like I have this voice where like on some days it could be low like this, like, chill. And but then on days I'll be like this and I'll be very lit and I'll be like, I think definitely I could vibe in a setting where they put different cartoons on me. Like I have a voice and this and that, like, or even in person. Like I would love to be on one of those shows where you like walk up and do a performance on the TV show or like, even acting. I feel like full on acting. If it's one thing I can do is I could portray emotion in real life. So just put me in front of a camera and do that. I feel like I could do it.
I could see it happening. You're versatile and you're achieving everything out here, working hard. But Pop
Thank
Star, that's my favorite song. Listen to your discography. Pop Star is the top one.
For real?
Yeah,
That's crazy. I made that beat too, my producer Stanley.
that's right. I did read about that online.
Yeah, man. It was actually it came together like one of those days where like we're just going to the studio and Stanley's like, you got a song to record. And I really didn't, but that song, like I had just kind of like freestyled it in the bathroom at the hotel before I got there. And I was like, well, I know what chords I would like to play, but I don't have a beat to it. And I kind of have a verse. So I went ahead and played the bells and we recorded it quickly that day. And I had a meeting with the label at the time I was with Under Atlantic. And they were like, whoa, this song, like ASAP needs to drop. I'm like, what are you talking about? That took us like 15 minutes. Like, that's not even to me, like, it didn't feel like I did something, but until I released it, I knew I did something. I was like, okay, so I really did something. Yeah.
What's next for you? What's next for you besides the EP? You're already performing at South by Southwest. What's next for you for this year and in the long-term future?
Man, I look forward to releasing with new artists, features. I'm producing a couple albums for artists, writing for big artists, people I love. Actually, today I have a session as well with the artist I love. Can't really disclose it because I'm not sure yet 100% if it's, you know, but wish me luck. Um, Hopefully much more placements to be able to become more independent as an artist financially. Being able to step out on a whim and do shows wherever I like, whenever I like. That's definitely coming up soon. We're doing shows, planning shows, um, going out of the country to work with artists in Europe, in Sweden, in Japan, and also in Colombia, man. Like we have some plans to be moving around. Um, Other than that, I have some partnerships and sponsorships and brand deals coming up and people I'm working relationships with already. So maybe even on the fashion tip, you might see me in a couple weeks like, hey, Poe Leos modeling that new this, that, Don't sleep on it. It's definitely coming. We're planning stuff. I'm moving, we always say moving every day and making new moves. So it's something coming. For sure.
But fashion is a passion of yours. Beyonce is also a fashion inspiration for you as well, not only as a vocalist and songwriter.
Yeah, I would say that for sure. I feel like in the fashion aspect for me, it's been really hard in my life to just pick somebody to just look up to because visually I've always been I can't explain it. It's almost like I have this like problem with picking what everyone else picks. And I also have a problem of being a regular, normal, everyday girl. Like it's like a really big issue I don't want to be. And like, a lot of females in the industry, sadly, because of marketing, I feel like most of the time are boxed in. And like it's just like it's not possible for me. It's really not. It's like I can be a glam. I can glam up. Of course, I can look good and I'm gonna look my way, but I'm gonna have my own drip to it, my own fashion, my own sense. Like and I don't think it's necessarily like a leadable thing. Of course, with a fashion designer or somebody, an expert, they can help me grow it. But I don't know if I'm necessarily looking out on that aspect because I don't feel myself looking at Beyonce and saying, I want to dress just like her. I really appreciate her showmanship and in what she wears. She's always leaving you with like, oh my God, she's killing it in that outfit. Like, oh shit, that outfit. Like, I mean, oh crap, that outfit. Like, she's this, she's that. But at the same time, I want to have my like they're always gonna know that's a Poe Leos outfit right there, low key. Like she could wear that and she'll pull that off. Like, just like how certain artists have that about them. I feel like I've always naturally had that. So it's just gonna keep continuing to be more individual.
You're moving out here. You've been out in LA for some time. You have your own studio in North Hollywood. Doing big
Yeah,
things.
sure
Doing
do,
big
man.
things. NAACP Image Award nomination.
Yeah, man. Don't gas me. Yo, that was crazy. I was freaking out about that because technically it was a soundtrack for Insecure, but I'm a feature artist on it and a writer. So of course that accolade is like insane for me to have worked on something that was, nominated for an NAACP award is shocking.
What's
Yeah.
your number one award that you want to achieve? If you could
You
have your
know,
pick of any.
um, not to be cliche, but these awards nowadays just mean less and less to me. And it's sad, but it's true. But that's the way the world is going. The awards are a lot more political than they are. I don't even think, even in the beginning, I don't think it was a measure of talent anyway. So
No.
it's all about and where you get to. So I always felt like awards were just kind of like that's an award from him. It's not an award from the world. An award from the world is the respect and the weight on your name. That's the award, like and the long term like fans, supporters, I guess better than supporters, that's the real award. I feel like because you can get an award and you'll be here today, gone tomorrow. Like I do not want the award if that's what comes with it. So I just can't pick one. I mean, I feel like the award for me would be meeting someone one day who knows every lyric to my song. Like something like that. That would be so much better feeling for me.
That's interesting. I like your take and just thinking about the award shows, and I understand your take on it. It took Nas over 20 years to win a Grammy. Long overdue.
And that's crazy. And that's wild. Exactly. That's insane. Just it's not right. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. But Poe Leos, is there anything else you want to let the audience know that we didn't cover today?
Man, no, thank you guys so much for having me. DJ Mad Maximus, period. Thank you for having me on your show. I really appreciate the support. Go check out my newest single, 241, on all streaming platforms and on YouTube. The music video's out now. And like you said, go follow me on Instagram at POELEOS. Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
Of course, anytime. Thank you for coming on. Shout out to Richard Dean for connecting us. You're always welcome on the show. 241 is in the rotation, Mad Max Radio Live 365. And that's pretty much it. I want you to enjoy the rest of your day. Take care and stay safe, all right?
You too, man. Thank you so much.
Be well. Thank you.
All right, bro.
Yeah. Peace out.